Okay, Special Agent, starring William Ith as Johnny Douglas, our special investigator for the railroads, and George Reeves as Paul Devereaux, the poor innocent guy roped into the train robbery by his mean older brother, Ed Devereaux. The whole story is pretty well carried out and narrated the whole way. The narrator was Truman Bradley. He started out as a radio broadcaster, considered by some the Midwest's leading news commentator. He got selected by Henry Ford to be the announcer for the Ford Sunday Evening Hour. He was also the announcer for Red Skelton's program, Burns and Allen's, and the Frank Sinatra Show. Although I always personally remember him as Captain Kane in Charlie Chan Dead Men Tell. And then William Ith was born in Mars, Pennsylvania, of all places, which I thought was super cool because my family, too, is originally from Mars, Pennsylvania. Okay, the movie opens with the railroad. Our narrator tells us about many aspects of the railroad, all the while leading up to the special agent. Then we're taken to a quiet, boring place out in the middle of nowhere. A branch off the railroad investigators' headquarters where Johnny Douglas, the new guy, is bored, waiting for something to happen. Then something does happen. The Devereaux brothers, desperate to save their family ranch, decide to rob a train. And this train robbery was well planned and well carried out. But then 4 men were shot down. One of them happened to be the father of Johnny's sweetheart, which now adds something personal against the train robbers, okay? Then we're shown a lot of the process of a manhunt, which I thought that was actually pretty cool. First, they traced some clues from the car the robbers left behind, and then these clues lead to a loose description of 2 dark-haired men in loggers' clothes and cowboy hats who could be brothers. Okay? And then the big mistake the brothers made, I think, here was that their loggers' boots scraped up everybody's floors and made them a little bit more well remembered. Okay, and then also George Reeves' character, Paul, sprained his ankle in the getaway, and that led to them having to stash the money in some hollowed out tree and then hold up in a mine shaft. But the mine shaft they already prepared the mine shaft as an emergency hideout just in case something just like this, okay? So then George here is actually, it's here that we get to see that George Reeves, he's actually a nice guy, and that the brother, Ed, shot all 4 of those men by himself, okay? All on his own. And then still later on, he shoots another guy, okay? So then the brothers, they end up going to their grandfather's ranch and tell him not to worry anymore, and that they got back from San Francisco, and they just got back from San Francisco, acquired a large money loan to save the poor old ranch. The scene was really awful to watch because, like, the grandpa, he looked so happy and full of hope, and he didn't even suspect that they actually robbed people and shot them for that money. I felt kind of bad for his character, And then, of course, in the meantime, Johnny Douglas has discovered the identity of the Devereaux brothers, and they're closing in, okay? The special agents now make their own little mistake, though, okay? They warn everybody about the Devereaux, but then Paul's girlfriend, Rose, she too hears about this warning, and then she goes to warn Paul, okay? Then the Devereaux, they get away. And we have a second manhunt. It's actually quite a chase, but then, like, months pass, and the Devereaux, they made a clean getaway, okay? And the narrator even tells us the case is now referred to as that Devereaux case. And everybody knows there's a big difference between the Devereaux case and, oh, that Devereaux case, you know? That was a long time ago. People barely care about it anymore. So it seems like they got away, but did they? No. Instead, because George Reeves, you know, him and his faithful girlfriend, she stuck by him after learning his big rotten mistake. They could have gotten away happy. I don't see what was wrong with that. But nope. Here's the big spoiler alert, okay? I'm just gonna tell you roughly exactly what happens, so you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. The brothers go back for that loot they left in the tree, and before they get there, two boys have discovered the money and told Johnny all about it. So then he switches the money out for a pile of rocks and paper, and the agents stake out the big hollow tree. And we have this awful scene where all the special agents are hidden in the bushes, and Paul scales the tree, and all the secret agents are watching, and he gets that worthless sack of rocks and paper, and he climbs all the way down, and he goes back to the old mine shaft to meet his brother. And then, of course, his brother shows up, and then they get into a fight because his brother thinks that, he was gonna run out on him. So then, there's a struggle in the dark. We don't even get to see what happens, okay? All we see is a zoom in on the knife, and then we learn that Ed stabbed Paul by accident in the middle of their heated argument. And then the secret agents come in, and they take Ed away, but George Reeves got killed, okay? That's not fair. He was Superman, okay? Everybody remembers him as Superman. They just killed him. It was horrible. And then it makes it hard to actually, they have this little scene in the end where it's like, oh, Johnny Douglas married his girl and lived happily ever after. It's like this rushed ending to say, hey, look, somebody lived happily ever after. And then it makes it hard to actually care about Johnny Douglas having a happy ending because Paul Devereaux was murdered. And he died like 10 seconds from the end. So it makes the happy ending overlooked, even though actually it was a cute ending, It was well done, but I didn't like it because he died in the end, it ruined the rest of the movie.